recently I wrote a blog about how you can use the iPad for sketching. Now I've actually got myself an Apple Pencil. First thing with your Apple Pencil is to have a look at your widgets and check to see what your battery life is. You can see my battery life is 29%. So let's have a look at sketching on an iPad Pro. There are several applications you can use. I'm going to use this one here called Procreate. Now there are lots that you can use and a lot of them have the same functionality, but this is one that I've been practicing with and I quite like it. The first thing I'm going to do is to create a page. I've got an A4 page down the bottom there. You might notice that it's 3500 pixels wide, 2800 across. Let's just escape from that. I'm going to turn my iPad the other way because I might want to make a vertical picture. When I click on the plus button, you notice that it's now the width and the height have swapped around. So if you want to create a page which is the other way around, all you have to do is to rotate your iPad and that'll create the right format page for you. So we're going to create an A4, and the first thing I would like to do is to import a photograph and trace over it. So let's have a look at my photos. I'm going to import an image. Now I've put aside here some images for sketches. So these are the things that I'd like to sketch. This is Central Park, and we're going to import that image, and there it is. And I'm just going to use two fingers and just rescale that and get it just where I want it. If you want to make it smaller to start with, that's fine. And this button up the top here is for creating layers. So let's create a new layer and we'll just zoom the whole picture out. So now you can see I can see my entire area, my entire sketching area, and if I tap that, then my picture becomes my active layer. This is my select button. So with my select button, I can scale my picture, I can rotate it, I can move it around, and I don't want to have any white area. I want to make sure I've got it in the middle like that. That's fine. Let's go back to my sketching layer. So I'm going to trace over this and I'm going to sketch. This is where I can sketch. I can use a technical pencil. I can sketch with a pencil there. I can use ink. I can use painting. I can use artistic. I can airbrush if I like. I'm not a big airbrush ability. I think it's really cool, but I'm just not very good at it. But I like to sketch, and I'm going to use a 6B pencil. Now the first thing with my 6B pencil is I just want to use it in a very simple way, but my photograph is actually quite bold, quite strong. So let me show you a trick. Tap on the layers, two fingers tap on layer 1. And this brings up our layer opacity, and I can slide my finger from the right to the left and I can change my opacity so that the picture in the background becomes quite transparent, so it's easier for me to see where I'm sketching. Back to my layers, don't forget to tap layer 2. So I've got my 6B pencil. This slider is the opacity of my pencil, so I want it solid. This is my pencil thickness, my brush size it's called. So let me just sketch a little bit in the middle. So there it is there. Let's slide that down, sketch another little bit. And you can see it's quite hard to see because it's very thin. This is my eraser, so I'm going to erase that area there. So with my pencil, I quite like to sketch with a very fat line because that's my sketching style. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to sketch over these trees because these trees are in the foreground here and I want them to be quite bold and I want them to stand out. And I'm sketching in the style that I was taught, which is kind of rough, but I like it. And so that's that part. So now what you can do is you can turn off your background photo and see what it looks like. Turn it back on and then we can sketch again. So this tree here, this tree's only just started to gain some of its leaves. So I'm going to use my artistic license a bit here and I'm going to pretend that it's not as big as it was. But down here it's going to be quite big. And these are the trees. This is in Central Park, New York. So these trees here were on the other side of that lake. And they follow along this lake here. And they kind of have reflections. So there's so I'm going to reflect my buildings, and I'm just using the pressure of my Apple Pencil to make changes to it. So I just do that. So this building, unfortunately, this building hid in the clouds, but the building was pretty tall. I don't know if it was that tall because it's hard to see, but I'm going to, as I say, use my artistic license. This building here, and sometimes I press quite heavy, and sometimes I press light. And this is the Philip Johnson what do the people call it, the Chippendale building. So 2 fingers on the screen, I don't know if you saw that, it's an undo. So you draw the line. If you lean your pencil over, it draws quite a fat line. If you lean it over quite a long way, it becomes very, very fat. So 2 fingers, tap on the screen, undo, undo again, undo again. So there's that building there. And then there's that Chippendale building, which I remember from university days. And it had some stuff here, which I'm just going to sketch over. And there's another little building here. I'm just going to give that a little bit of colour so that it hides. And there's another building here. You can see it's very difficult to see sometimes through this stuff because of my opacity. If that's the case, 2 fingers again, slide the opacity up so you can see it a little bit more easily. Don't forget to make the other layer, the sketching layer, the visible layer. Otherwise, you're going to get into trouble and start sketching on the wrong layer. So some other buildings over here. Oh, this is another quite famous building here with that big open slot. And another building over here. I don't know what that building is, so I'm just going to shade that in a bit. And there's another dark building here. I'm just going to shade all of that in. So there's my sketch starting to take shape. Let's just have a look to see what it looks like without the photo. So it's missing a bit of sky. Really needs a little bit of sky in there. There were some pretty dark black clouds up here, so let's put some of those in. No, I don't really like those, so I'm just going to undo those. So I'm tapping with 2 fingers. And maybe we can pretend it was quite a sunny day. That would be kind of fun. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new layer. I'm going to go to my painting. Now I've gotten used to using this damp brush. And here's my colours. So I'm going to use a light blue. And I'm going to pretend that it was quite a sunny day. Now you might notice I'm sketching right over my sketch, where I'm painting the sky right over my sketch. So I've decided that's the bit that I want to keep. Let's have a look. We'll look at that with the sketch and with the sky. And there's my completed sketch. One of the cool tricks with this is where you export the image. Obviously you can export you can share that, and you can share it to your photos, you can share it to your Dropbox and so on. But you can also export the video. Now the video you can't see at the moment, but I'll attach it to the end of the movie and I'll just save that. So here's my video. So I'll just play this video and you can watch me draw the entire project in just a few seconds. I think that's kind of a cool trick. So that's a quick tutorial on sketching on with your iPad with Procreate. Now the tricks I think are to use the pencils and to learn to use these sliders. You might notice I use a very fat pencil. Let's go back to my sketching. I like using the fat pencil. I've tried using a thin pencil, but my style just seems to suit the fat pencil. Thanks for watching.